Good evening, Kyrie.
Good evening.
I did.
Hey, good evening, Galco.
Hey, good evening, Mia. How are you?
Pretty good. I won't be able to join by camera this evening.
All right. You want to
I'm seeing duplicates in the waiting room. Kyrie, are you joining from another device?
Mia, can you make me a co-host
Sure.
just in case?
Definitely. I see another
We'll put them on. What's the big deal? Worst comes to worst, we'll take them off, right?
well, I don't want us to be Zoom bombed because I see two people who are named Zoom user. I'm gonna, if your name is Zoom user, could you please identify yourself so you can be properly identified in the meeting log?
Yeah, Mia, we have a very important guest here, which you can't see, standing next to Mr. Pearson, one of the
Okay.
businessmen in New York.
Got it.
Oh, it is.
And if possible, if everyone just can name themselves, first initial, last name.
Okay.
Okay.
Yankee City or in Wall Street?
I'm sorry?
You're on Wall Street now?
Hello. Yeah, I'm just leaving my office over here. Okay, I think I'm good.
Hey, everyone.
How are you guys?
Pretty good, can't complain.
Good. How are you?
Thank you. Don't go anywhere. We need you for quorum.
Sorry?
We're expecting some other committee members, right?
Yes, everyone said that they will be present this evening.
Good night, Miss Hilton.
Good night, Kyrie. I see you made it in. Great.
Yes.
Perfect.
Thank you.
No problem.
We'll be starting any moment. We're just waiting for one or two more people.
Hello. Hello.
Good evening, everybody. Thank you for joining. We're going to open tonight's Community Board Public Safety meeting. We have several applications. We have some renewals we have a new application. We also have an application to allow dancing on 510 Flatbush Avenue. We currently have a quorum, where Mr. Pearson is here, Rashid is here, and Kyrie is here as well, and myself are all board members, so we have a quorum and committee members. I'm gonna ask, let's start with the renewal, because that's gonna be quick. Balvu, you wanna start and quickly tell us what you're asking us to do? And we checked in with NYPD and FDNY, and there are no complaints at your restaurant location. And just quickly, briefly tell us what you'd like, and the board will take it under consideration. Committee. You're on mute. You're on mute. You're still on mute. I also want to recognize Tess Acavera, who's also a board and committee member who joined us tonight as well.
Good evening, everyone. Good evening, Rabbi.
Good evening. Yeah, you could talk. Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, I just would like you guys to grant me the opportunity for the renewal again. I've been here for the past 29 years and been serving the community, loyalty, and faithfully. There was never nothing incorrect in my restaurant, and I've been trying to do the right thing and keep the door open.
Thank you. This is you want to tell the committee where your restaurant is located and what license you currently have, and that you're asking us to renew it.
Okay, I'm located at 1655 Bedford Avenue, literally right across from Medgar Evers College, right in front of Herbert Feed building where the Dodgers was. And I've been here since 1993, actually 29 years.
Are there any questions from the committee or from the community?
No, Rabbi, if I may.
Of course.
Yes, I've attended meetings at Balboa's restaurant. Good evening, Mr. Balboa. I don't know your real name, but I called you Mr. Balboa. And the service is good, the prices are reasonable. And I mean, unless we get a report from the 71st precinct saying otherwise, I'd like to support this reapplication.
Thank you.
Thank you as well. I believe we checked with NYPD.
I too, this is my apologies. I too, Kyrie Alim, would like to support this application. I frequent this restaurant since I was a little boy, and it's right down the block from my house, and I go often. So the food is great, the service is amazing, and yeah, I second that.
So we're gonna, well, we're gonna make a motion at the end of the meeting, or Tess, you want to do it now?
Why not?
Is anyone else applying for?
We have
either,
several other applications. We should wait,
So,
right?
yes, we should wait. That would be the respectful thing to do.
All right, Mr. Gomez.
So,
Good evening, guys.
I just before, is there any other renewals here with us tonight?
No,
All right, great, because there was another one on the agenda, correct?
yes, and they are not here.
All right, so Mr. Gomez is applying for a new liquor license. Tell us, tell us about your establishment, what you're looking to open. And
Yes,
and a little bit about you have a partner, right?
I do.
A little bit
So-
yourself and your partner, the menu, whether you're going to be hiring people from the neighborhood, hours of operation, just a basic overview.
Excellent. Well, thank you guys for having me tonight. A little bit about me. I'm currently we have another establishment across the park. It's called Cena, if you're ever around. It's on 601 Greenwood Avenue. And pretty much, we are expanding. It's a Mexican restaurant, it's very family oriented where we are located right now. We close at 10 p.m., nothing, we serve good food, good quality. We always, like to support the community. And for the past 3 years, we opened up a little bit before the pandemic, which we got a rough start. But Other than that, all whatever comes through us, we manage to handle it, even though we're new doing this. I've been doing this since for the past 20 years. I opened up 3 places with my previous partner that I was his employee. Now, on the last one, which is Zina, he gave me the opportunity to become, an owner, and so far so good. We are looking to expand, like I said, and you guys are not far away from here. We are planning on doing the same thing: good Mexican food, some tacos, margaritas, brunch on the weekends. We're not planning on being like a 4 a.m. place. Be out by midnight from Monday through Friday. Maybe stay a little bit late on Friday and Saturday, 2 a.m. if possible. We're hoping we will be a good fit for the community. There's much that we can afford, we're planning on support locally. And we just wanna be able to fit in and give something back to the community.
Thank you. Are there any questions from the committee? Rashida, you want to?
Hi.
Hi, Rashida. You're muted again.
Okay, there we go. Hi. Question.
Yes.
We're on Beekman. Is it Beekman, and where exactly is this location?
It's 2122 Beekman.
But
So
where
it's
is
in
it,
the-
on Flatbush or?
It's in the it's in the Irv space.
Okay, I didn't realize Irv.
Yes.
So Irv closed down?
I
don't know if they're
believe-
test.
I
I
believe
believe
they
Irving
were closed
went to
for
Flatbush.
two years. If I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, Irv has been closed for a while, Rashida.
Okay. And you're taking over that space?
Hopefully, if you guys will back me up on this, yes, we want to.
Okay, now Jess, I don't know if you realized when Irv was open, there were some issues in regarding like the area around it. Are you aware of those issues?
We know there was an incident that occurred there, but as for,
I mean, there was regarding the neighborhood and people congregating around Irv's, and there was complaints about noise and things like that around that area. So if that comes up with your establishment, because it seems like it's going to be, a bar, tavern, food, how do you plan on addressing that?
We will be targeting mainly our bread and butter. We want to be food. We're going heavy on the food. We don't want to stay until 4 a.m. If that ever the case, we will approach accordingly to people. Try to in a way eliminate if there's any we wouldn't let people get intoxicated or even hang out in our space
on the outside.
It's just not okay. We're planning on having brunch you can go and hang out with a kid and your dog outside. It's definitely not that type of plan. I want to go back to my kid. It's not looking for that kind of spot.
It'll be much more of a sit-down, food-oriented establishment, whereas Irv's was more of a cocktail bar. People, hang around and stand around outside, and that wouldn't be happening at Siena as it does at the other locations.
Rashida, on their application, it says that on Saturday, when there's like a DJ in the space, they're going to have security. Is that accurate?
Yeah, I have the application open. I just wanted to hear from them what they were planning on doing. And then I do see on the application, I think I saw that it's bar tavern.
Which area? It's a restaurant. I'm not sure where you saw bar tavern.
On the type of establishment under number 13, it has bar tavern.
Number 13.
This is on the main application, standardized notice form to 30-day advance notice?
Oh, was the advance notice sent as bar tavern?
Yeah,
That's more of a, that's likely, I am Zara Lucas, I apologize, representative from the attorney's office. And I believe the notice, there's a technicality with the SLA as far as what is considered, full food service. And oftentimes when you're offering, smaller items such as like, tacos and little things, they qualify more of a restaurant for licensing purposes, not operationally. Places that have more full entree type meals, like your standard, and not so much like, lighter Mexican fare. And so what we've had to do is, for licensing purposes, it's listed as a bar tavern, but like sushi restaurants sometimes fall into that category because they don't consider sushi to be like a full service, establishment sometimes. And so that's kind of why that was grouped in that way. Not
Okay.
to say that his operation is more bar, it is most definitely will be a food first establishment, but he will have, of course, cocktails available on the menu. And there is a little bar in Herbs already where there'll be seating, but it's most definitely not a bar first business.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, I also noticed on the application, you're gonna have an outdoor area, sidewalk cafe.
If it's possible, we saw that there were already a permit happening. And if it's,
Like a COVID, there was a COVID permit, or there's a permit separate?
I believe it's a separate.
The DOT, it may have been the DOT, yes, the what you're referring to as the COVID permit is what is now the open restaurants supposed to be permanent program that they're working through here in the city. So it's the DOT outdoor seating, because sidewalk cafes don't exist anymore
Right.
currently.
So my question, no, just to Rashida's question, if you're gonna be serving food and drink outside, how will you prevent crowds from gathering? And I don't remember the issues that Rashida's referring to, but she has a good memory, so I'm sure they're accurate. So whatever those issues were, how are you gonna prevent them from reoccurring if you're gonna have outdoor seating and drinks?
Well, it would be seated table service.
I understand that.
As for, so there will be no standing around and lingering. If there are other measures that need to be put in place, such as, making reservations and what's not, those of course can be implemented. But as far as the hours go, the outdoor hours that he listed on the questionnaire, it's until 10 p.m. outdoors during the week, and Saturday at 12 a.m.
What does that mean? You're closing out?
The outdoor seating, yeah.
How do you close it? You lock, like, how are you gonna close it?
Well, not permit,
I'll tell you what, I was at a restaurant a few weeks ago, Saturday night in the city.
Mhm.
And there were 40 teens outside in the area that was supposed to be closed, keeping up the whole neighborhood. Let me just clarify, and usually Tessa does this clarification. We support small businesses. We want small businesses to grow. We want you to succeed, especially during this time when New York's, went through a very difficult time. And we're excited that people are still incredibly interested in our neighborhood and supportive of our neighborhood. And we encourage the growth and the development of small business in the neighborhood, and we support you guys 100%. We want you to succeed. That said, we also want to prevent problems, potential problems. So it's more like I'm creating an awareness. I'm not questioning your intent or what you may have this completely under control. I'm creating an awareness that location had some sort of noise issue. So we're asking you to be
Right.
aware and take all the preventive measures possible to ensure that your neighbors are happy as well, and also are gonna participate in your success, and that your success won't translate into somebody else's, not being able to sleep at night or trouble outside the establishment.
Well, certainly it could be, as I know is done in some places, if there's outdoor seating that's to end at a certain time, as happens in Manhattan, where they have they require very strict enforcement of outdoor seating closures. It's either
Nobody
they make
enforces
you
that.
like, move the chairs in or whatever the case may be. I'm certain one, and you can speak to, you know, like ending food service at a certain time for those seating outside so that they have sufficient time to complete and shut down that outdoor use by 10 p.m. and 12 a.m. As listed here. You know, managing that is usually something that's pretty easy to moderate in that way. But one can speak to, you know, what I believe you guys have outdoor seating over in Windsor.
Yes, we do. So what we do before getting close to 10, we stop taking food orders at 9 p.m. So we gave the guests enough time to finish their meal. So by 10, they will receive a check, you know, we will close them out and then put everything back in. And it's just a simple way to, we wouldn't take any, like, in order for you to sit down, I mean, sit outside, you have to be seated at the table and with the reservation. Otherwise, there's no way, no, you're not getting served if you're standing up, you're not moving from the table. It's table service. I'm not trying to have a congregation around the area, you know?
Thank you for clarifying. Are there any questions from the community or from the committee? Any further questions? Great. So we will go on to 510 Flatbush, Andrew Golden. I see somebody here just signed on NYPD. Is that a member of the New York Police Department here with us tonight?
It's Sergeant Felicetti.
Hey, Sergeant, thank you so much for joining us.
How you doing?
Thank God. So, Andrew, first of all, welcome. I understand that you got last minute notice of this meeting. We also got last minute notice of your application. Can you clarify to the committee exactly what you're asking and why you think that although there's still an ongoing, issues that have not yet been resolved, why you think we should support your application? I was surprised. I think like coming to us and asking us to support an application before we resolved all the issues. I'm just trying to figure out how we could justify that. So if you could speak to that point, it would be helpful.
Yeah, no problem. So we actually, since the last time we talked, have done a ton of work on the soundproofing, have invested a lot of money, and have been really, really, really trying our best to do everything we can to not have issues with the neighbors. And actually, Sergeant Felicetti actually stopped by on my birthday, February 26th, to let me know that we've gotten better and that he hasn't gotten complaints for the neighbors. And then we actually were also we were able to figure out with two different sound engineers a way to put a limiter on all of our speakers. So even if a musician or a DJ was trying to go loud and to try to be obnoxious, because sometimes musicians do that, that it wouldn't actually allow them to go past a certain level, so that outside of our space, we were not over the legal limit. Last time we all talked, the number one goal was actually to get us to that place where we were at a legal limit and we were getting much better. Also, we had other issues. People mentioned smoking cigarettes outside. We don't let anybody smoke cigarettes in front of our space anymore. We have been providing so many good things for the community. Free yoga classes have been happening once a week. Our cafe has been feeding the community. And for us to be able to survive as a 7,000 square foot space that has almost $30,000 in rent, our events are super, super important for our survival. And the main customers and people that have been coming to us are people that they've been pent up in their apartments for 2-3 years, and they want to be able to dance when they rent the space. We actually have a perm event with one of the members of the community board, Yakov Pearson, next week, and we wouldn't even be able to provide that if we wouldn't get the dancing, because according to him and other people, that's just something that people like to do. It brings them joy. At the same time, like dancing as a meditation as well. We have a lot of wellness brands that have wanted to rent our space literally just for that. And at the same time, we're still going to have the music. We're still going to have the DJs. It's just like, I just think that it would be nice to allow people to dance without feeling stressed and nervous about it and having it be something that's wrong.
Now you can't, now you're not dancing?
Now, no, we're not able to. We have people hanging out around the stage. We've had some events. We've had private events, but publicly, we don't have any public events with dancing.
All right. I am going to, wait, we have a few raised hands, but I did we lose? Oh, no, we didn't. I'm going to first turn it over to, are there any members of the committee that have questions?
Hi, Rashida Sadiq here. So I was at the last meeting that you guys were at, and I guess a couple of follow-up questions. I understand that you're saying that you guys, you know, because of the space, this is going to help your business, etc. But how, once again, now that if you get this license, this approval for the dancing, it's going to be more of a party establishment versus a restaurant and wellness center?
It's going to be, well, for us, our liquor license only actually allows us to go till 4 a.m. on Friday and Saturdays. So that would be the only time that we would have the nighttime dancing events. But at the same time, like, I have my own brand, and it's like, it's very well curated in terms of the concept is social wellness. So what we do, we have like a whole non-alcoholic section with healthy elixirs, and the crowd is very chill. We have like a mix of live music as well. Like, we have a Himalayan salt cave. We provide massages for people. It's like a whole experience. And for us, like, it's always been about providing like a social experience, and literally being the only place in Brooklyn that you can go at night on a Friday or Saturday night and be able to have that combination of having a good time, but also being healthy, relaxing, having non-alcoholic choices. The restaurant is still open every day except for Wednesday. We have really healthy vegan food. The yoga is still every single day as well, except for Saturdays. The spa and the salt cave are also open every single day. So all of those elements still we plan to do, and we still plan to be a restaurant as well. But yeah, we would have events as well.
So just as a follow-up, just to clarify, so now with that, are you going to be having events during the week in addition to Friday and Saturdays of party events, not wellness, but actually dancing events that's going to have both the liquor? Because I know you said you guys have non-liquor elixirs and stuff, but these events are going to be with liquor, correct?
Yes.
Okay, and this is going to happen during the weekday and on the weekend, on Friday and Saturday.
During the week, we have mostly non-alcoholic events. If it would be dancing, like they have like a few different brands that like to have like dancing and non-alcohol, because we only open till 12. If we did have alcohol during the week, it would be a private rented event, and it wouldn't be open to the public. It would just be like a private birthday party or a bachelorette party or something like that.
Okay.
Rashida, I'm going to tell you, this is interpretation and conjecture now. The way I see it is that Andrew's trying to clean up the place. There's probably some sort of dancing anyway. As the lawyer told him, you got to fix this. If you're dancing, you have to have the right permits, or you realize, this is conjecture, Andrew. It's not, I haven't been there, so I don't know. But that sounds like to me. Sergeant, I see your hands raised.
Yes, hi. Good evening, everybody. Sergeant Filicetti. I work in the 7-1 precinct. So just to give you an update, I did visit the establishment on Andrew's birthday, which I believe was about a week and a half ago, or 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, about 2 weeks.
Yeah, and I didn't get any, like you said before, I didn't get any 311 calls in the beginning of the day. And then I went there and tell him, like, listen, I thank you, for having it lowered. Then later on, we started to get 301. Now, it's just like everything else. Different songs have different bass patterns or different vibration patterns. So maybe, I mean, it started like just to, like I said, it started to just annoy, I guess, some of the tenants. So I asked them, listen, could you please lower it? And they did. I did show them. I had a sound meter there. I did show them the volumes and everything in the levels, and they did lower it. And then the people that were complaining said that they didn't hear anything anymore, and they were happy. So are they? I mean, are they lowering it when asked? Yes. Are they doing the right thing by, helping us? Yes. Is there dancing? There's slight dancing. It's not like everybody's jumping up and down or doing like a rave. But there is slight, they are moving, to the music and everything. So I wouldn't, it's not like I said, they're not doing like the Irish jig or anything like that. But they are, but like I said, they're all loud music. They are getting better with it. And I'm hoping that moving forward, that it stays like I said, between the hours of 10 to 4. It has to be at a reasonable level. So
did they go above the legal level, or it was just?
It was above the legal level when I was there. But once I spoke to them, they lowered it, and it was the subwoofer. He lowered the sub, and it stopped the issue. So as long,
So Andrew, how can we prevent going forward that? Because it seems, listen, what you've demonstrated to this committee, as it sounds like the sergeant is saying, is you're doing your best, you're trying hard to really fix this. So how do we, but how do we prevent that it's never going to go above the legal level? So we don't have this issue, because the sergeant's out of town for the weekend, and what happens to the tenants?
No, I understand. For me, I'm just a little bit confused, because we actually, when my brother went out with the sergeant and we did the reading, and we took the picture of it, even it was at 42 dB, and he was doing the reading on the opposite side of a private hallway in the building. And we actually spoke to our lawyer, and it's supposed to be 15 feet away from the space. He was taking the reading right on the opposite side of the wall in a private hallway. And I honestly, like, bottom of my heart, swear to you, like, I do not believe it was over the legal limit. Even at that opposite side. But if he had went 15 feet away from the location, there's no possible way that it could have been. And we didn't even raise the sound when he came back. So I was surprised actually that the tenants complained to him. But at the same time, we are continuing. We literally have another $10,000 coming in investments on bass traps in the space to continue to have things to absorb the sound, because he's right. Sometimes just one song with one frequency can hit a pipe somewhere and travel up, and then someone may hear it. But if you walk by our establishment at any time and any day, you stand outside our space, it's very, very hard to even tell anything is happening when we're doing an event. And we've been super, super conscious about that. I can admit that earlier, when the sergeant was coming months ago, we definitely, it was louder than it should have been. We thought it wasn't as bad, but clearly the tenants were unhappy. So we really, really have done everything we can. We almost put ourselves out of business trying to fix this problem, because of how much we care and how much we understand that it's an issue for specifically the neighbors upstairs. It's not an issue for any of the neighbors anywhere else in the neighborhood. It's just the building, because unfortunately with sound, it's very unpredictable, and it can go up a pipe and travel up, and then it can go into someone's apartment. So for us, the only thing I can guarantee you, I can send you receipts, I can connect you with all of our sound engineers and show you that we are continuing to invest in fixing this problem, because we want the neighbors to be happy. We love the building. I live right upstairs. This is my neighborhood. I've been here for so many years, and all we want to do is be part of the community and have them happy with us. So all I can tell you is I can guarantee you that we will continue to invest, to do everything we can to put limiters on our systems, so that the sergeant doesn't have to, he can actually worry about dangerous crime and not have to be bothered by neighbors coming to our space on a Saturday night.
Can I just say one thing real quick?
Of course. Can you clarify the sound?
I'm sorry?
Can you clarify whether they were within or above the legal limit? Because that's
the legal limit is so I went to DEP, and which DEP is the Department of Environmental Protection. They're the ones that actually do the sound testings and everything. And I sat with them. I have a sound meter. They showed me how to use it. They also taught me what the sound level is. So more or less is I have to take what's called an ambient sound measure. So that's basically a quiet level, and then there has to be a level where it's what it's at. So more or less is when the music's on and it's blasting, I got a number between 52 and 54. And then when the music was off, he's right, it was around 40, 42. The difference has to be 7. So anything higher than 7, it's illegal. So again, I didn't issue any summonses, but that's the law, and it was above 7. I didn't issue any summonses, and they did comply. When I asked them to lower the sub, they did. So there was nothing, like I said, once they lowered it, there was no, I called back the tenant immediately, and I said, did you hear any noise or anything more? And they said no. I went back in, I spoke to Andrew, and Andrew can tell you that I did the same thing, that I told him, thank you for lowering it. Your tenant's happy, and please keep it at this level. And he did for the rest of the night, and we didn't have any other issues. But it was, when I went there and I tested it, it was in violation. But again, I didn't issue a summons. I told Andrew that I don't want to bury him with summonses as long as he.
Sergeant, is it possible that you were too close to the establishment when you
So,
took?
speaking with DEP, they said I have to be 15 feet from the source of the noise and everything. From where his DJ booth is, okay, there's about, I would say about maybe 8 feet from where, or 9 feet from where the DJ booth is, all the way to where I was standing. And I mean, the wall is, and then I was standing another 5 feet away from that wall. But if he wants to get really technical and you want to talk about the sub that is there, the big subwoofer, a subwoofer is more than 15 feet from where I was standing. And that's really where the concern is that subwoofer. So the subwoofer is more than 15 feet from where I was standing in the hallway in the next room over.
So, sorry to interrupt, and I don't mean to disrespect your reading in any possible way, shape, or form. But
So I think, Andrew, I think so far you've been respectful tonight, right, Sergeant?
Yes,
You've been very respectful. Don't worry about it. Just say what you got to say. Say it straight.
For me, I spoke to maybe 30 people in the industry. I spoke to 4 different lawyers. When you say the source, it means the actual establishment 15 feet away. If it was the actual source of the sound, that would mean in any single space, you can walk 15 feet away from the subwoofer inside the space, and you're going to be over the legal limit. When you're doing the measurement, it has to be 15 feet away from the establishment. It can be upstairs 15 feet. It could be 15 feet from the front doors. But I was like, oh, I couldn't believe that was the rule. And I like double, triple, quadruple checked. And I've never been more positive about something in my life. It's 15 feet from the actual location. And if he had done that 15 feet from the location, we would have been okay. And I'm very confident.
Well, Sergeant, we'll double check, right?
Yeah, I'm gonna have I'll have DEP come down and
No, we'll confirm what the rule is, I'm saying.
well, oh, you want, like I said, so when he mentioned source and from the building, well, let me ask you a question. Where the source is meaning from the sound amplifier, which would be the device itself that makes the sound, so which would be a speaker. That's a source of noise. If I remove that source, you're not going to have any music. So you're telling me that if I was 15 feet from your establishment, that's a lie, because your source is not coming from the front of your building. Your source is not coming from the rear of your building. Your source is not coming from the left side of the building or the right. It's coming from the middle of the building, because that's where your subwoofer is. So the source of where the noise is coming from is from the subwoofer, from the speakers, not from your building. Your building does not have speakers attached. You have speakers attached to the building, but
No, source means establishment.
no source. The item. So, for example, if I'm on the street and somebody has a portable electronic device, which is a speaker, on the street on a public sidewalk, and he's blasting it, so am I to turn around and say, well, I have to stand 15 feet from what source? He's outside on a public street. What's the source? Is the source the amplified sound system, or is it 15 feet from 6 blocks away? Where is your space?
Yeah, but Sergeant, we could easily confirm this. It's not something they can't. It's a simple question. We'll confirm it for you.
I've already confirmed it, but we can
All right,
confirm
so
it.
the sergeant and myself will both confirm, and either will confirm that what you said is true, or we'll confirm what the sergeant's interpretation is correct. It's not something. Nobody. we all want to get to the bottom. We all want to fix this. So it's something I'll email and the sergeant will reach out to the city and find out for clarification, what the law is. And I'm sure that when it's clarified, you're going to comply with said law. I see that
Definitely.
Angelina, you have a question as well?
Yes, good evening, everyone. I'm a tenant in 510 that lives directly above the establishment. And I was present at the last meeting. I didn't find out about this meeting until, last minute notice like others. And the base has still been an ongoing issue for me. This is not about, trying to hurt somebody's business. This is about basic respect and quality of life and dignity. And this issue has been going on since last August. And I feel, as well as some other tenants, that the owners have had a lot of time. We've been asked as tenants to be very, very, very patient and give them time and opportunity to fix this issue. Is it a life and death issue? No, but we pay rent here.
Let me interrupt. Are you opposing their application? Is that what you're saying?
Yes, because the fact that they want to now have dancing be permitted really concerns me. It really brings me a lot of concern.
Well, I think so the real question is, I think whether or not they're complying with the law. If they're complying with the law, that's one thing. If they're not complying with the law, it's another situation. I think that if they're complying, again, I'm talking for myself now. The committee is they're all welcome to add to this conversation. I think that as long as the establishment is complying with the law and dancing is not going to create more noise, then that's one issue we have to address. If they're not complying with the law, and dancing can create more noise, it's another issue we have to address. I don't think that I don't think that their history necessarily is the only factor here. I think what happened since our meeting and whether or not they resolve this is also important.
Is it possible that I can just finish my statement before you continue? Because I've really been patient and listened to everyone and what they had to say. My only point is that the noise issue is not 100% resolved. And here it is now, they're applying for another feature to be added to their business. And I'm just telling you my experience as a tenant who pays rent in this building, that the noise issue for me personally, as well as some other tenants, has not been fully resolved yet. We don't even get updates as to what they've been doing. I hear drilling sometimes at 7 p.m., under my floor. I don't know if that's them soundproofing or not. I have no idea, because there's no communication saying, hey, we're working on making sure the base is no longer an issue. I don't have the officer's number to directly call him. My only recourse is to call 311. And I feel at this point, the last time we had a meeting, I just have to say this, we didn't even get an apology from the owners about the distress this has caused us as paying tenants in this building. It was like pitted against as if we were, trying to put you out of business, when that's never been the issue. Before it even got to the community board, we tried everything to communicate with owners directly. So yes, I'm concerned about dancing becoming a part of their business.
I want to let you finish.
I'm finished for now. Thank you.
Great. Let's turn it over to Tessa, and then we'll go to Rashida.
Thank you, Rabbi, but I believe Rashida's hand was up before mine.
I apologize. I didn't see that. Rashida.
I was actually just going to, you know what, I'm not gonna say, I'm ready to vote when you guys are. Tessa, go ahead.
Okay, thank you, Madam Co-Chair. Okay, so it sounds like, we had a major issue starting from last August. It came to the community board. The community board tried to get all the parties to sit down for some discussion. I thought we had a if not a contentious meeting, but an agreement to resolve meeting the last time. And it sounds like the owners are working to get to a point where the tenants are happy sound wise, because it's really a noise issue. We don't really get to tell the tenant, we don't get to tell the owner of the space what kinds of activities should go on there, but it's the noise issue. So if the noise issue is what's bothering tenants, and we have a good faith effort by the owner to resolve noise, and we have the 71st precinct and the officer who's been gracious enough to come to all of our meetings to give us an update as to what's going on and what they're doing to try to resolve noise, because that's all we're talking about, noise. Then let's see this through. Let the owner, continue to do what he needs to do to follow the law, and dumb down on the noise, and let the tenants who have been already patient continue to be patient, because we're talking about noise. And it appears that he's trying to get to a place where he's following the law and taking care of the noise situation so that the tenants can be happy and he can live and they can live. And that's all we want to do, is live and let live. We don't get to tell him that people can't come to the establishment and dance, even if everybody has on headphones and they're dancing to what only they hear. I've been to an event like that where it's called a silent party, where you have on headphones and everybody's hearing the same music. So whatever we can do to resolve the noise, let's continue to do it with the 71st precinct, keeping a watchful eye.
So can I ask a question? At what date
Sure.
would the noise issue be fully and completely resolved? Like, at what point will that be completely over? Because I don't care about the dancing either. It's what may come with the dancing that I'm concerned about.
Well, we that's not a question for me, young lady. So that's not a question for me. So thank you very much.
Andrew, I think that's a very good question. Angeline, you asked the question, right?
Yes, please. Whoever can answer it. Thank
Andrew,
you.
I think it's a good question, because personally, I'm uncomfortable taking this for a vote before the first issue is totally resolved. I think that if you could answer Angeline's question, it would be very helpful.
So for us, we have next week, we have a ton of bass traps coming in, and I'm hoping that eliminates everything 100%. She literally lives right upstairs. Like, if someone stood outside of the space and talked, she would be able to hear it in her apartment. It's New York City. I don't know if there'll ever be a moment where there's 100% noise, completely silent, complete. I think that's impossible. And I wish that I can say it wasn't. But I can tell you that legal limit wise, like, we will never go over the legal limit again. And we're going to continue to make the bass and the sound better and better as we add bass traps, as we add more soundproofing. But I can give you 10 different sound engineers, the best ones in the city, and they'll tell you the same answer as me, is the sound is the most unpredictable thing that out there. And it's, you can have a limiter, you can do everything that you want. One song, one moment for 5 seconds can go upstairs and then go away again. And even if she hears it, it'll be at a whisper. The legal limit is literally, it's a whisper at night. That's what the sound of the legal limit is. You can, if Angeline would try, I know she can at least admit that since August to now, we've gotten much, much better. It's way, way less loud than it used to be. I know for a fact that we were doing a sound test. The reason Sergeant Filicetti even came February 26th is because he didn't hear a complaint since December 10th when we did our last, like, I would say nighttime event, because we were trying so hard. So we're really, really getting much better. I mean, it was 2.5 months without any complaints from anybody. So we're moving in the right direction. We're really, really trying our best. And to be honest, like any other tenant that moves into the building, we let them know that there's a chance that they might hear a tiny, tiny bit of noise, and they're okay with it. I understand.
Andrew, your answer is that next week you hope to have it completely resolved. That was your answer?
That's my goal, yes. I hope these
And how many events do you have after next week for the first Thursday of the next month?
In April, we have a couple of events.
So we'll know if it's resolved, I'm saying, by next month's meeting.
Yeah,
All
definitely.
right.
Can I just quickly respond and then I'll be quiet?
Of course.
When I don't hear the music,
First of all,
I
Angela,
have,
thank you for coming to this meeting. We appreciate you coming. You have every right to speak and represent yourself and your fellow tenants. You don't have to be quiet. If you have something to say, feel free to say it, please.
thank you. When I don't hear the music, I don't have a problem. A little toot through my walls doesn't deter me. Like, I live in a building. I don't expect it to be quiet as a pin drop. If it was a issue like that, I wouldn't even be here. There would be no problem. I just was asking a reasonable question. I understand you've been doing work to resolve the issue. I just wanted a date as to which, at 1 o'clock in the morning, I'm not going to hear bass coming through to the point where I can't sleep. I don't mind if I hear a little whisper. That's fine with me. I can live with that. As long as I can sleep, I'm good, because it's New York. I've been living here all my life. I get it. But it was beyond that, which is why it's been such a distressing issue for me. So I just wanted to clarify that point. Thank you.
No problem. And Angeline, just to ask you the question, since our last community board meeting, how after 1 a.m., how often has this kept you up at night?
At least 2 or 3 times. At least 2 or 3 times.
In how long? Over 3 months, right?
Yes.
3 months.
Could be some nights I'm so tired that I just don't hear it, even if it is above legal limit. But I can remember at least 2 or 3 times it was an issue for me.
Rashida, you had a question, right, or comments?
Yeah, I did. Actually, it's gonna be 2. One, I wanted to find out, I guess, how much notice was given to the other tenants in the building that this meeting was happening, if they were even notified about it, because I'm glad Angeline is here to kind of give her perspective as well. But I know the last meeting we had a lot more and they had more notice, I assume.
There was not enough notice given to them.
Okay,
Absolutely.
so so that's my, and then secondly.
I myself didn't know until a few days
Yeah,
ago.
it was an issue within the board office, and I reached out to the board office today and said, were the tenants notified? And they said no. I said, you have to notify them.
Okay, and then secondly, I'm glad Angelina just clarified that she was, from her recollection, about 2 or 3 times. This is to Andrew Golden, Mr. Golden. How many events have you had since the last meeting that had not noise, but had like events where there was music or things, during that time? How many events have you had since then?
Past 1 a.m., I can't recall more than 1, to be honest, possibly 2, but I think just 1. I have to go back on my schedule. We've been really trying to resolve the issue and limit these events, because also what happens is the later at night that it gets, we might have the same volume at 11 or 10, and then at 1 or 2, because the street noise gets so much more quiet, we've noticed that that's when you can start to hear it more, because it's so quiet outside and there's no ambient noise outside to stop that from happening. But maximum 2, but I think only 1 that I could recall, but I would have to look at our schedule and really go through it. But it's been super limited, and it's been really tough on us, honestly, but we've been really trying our best, because like I said, we want to fix this problem. We want Angeline sleeping at night. And at the same time, Angeline, you probably have the most unlucky apartment in the whole building, in the sense that it's directly right above us. I know that I've been going upstairs to 7B to all the empty apartments and listening. And I know since we talked, it's gotten much better throughout the building. I know once in a while there are some people on the 2nd floor that hear it, but yeah, we're working on it. And at the same time, I've spoken to management, and they're really trying as well to see if there's an apartment that's an upgrade from the apartment you have, if you would be open to it, to be moved, just in case, because where it wouldn't be directly above our space, because I know it's a very different situation with new tenants coming in where it's an expectation. For you, I know you were there before we started, so it was a different situation where it was completely quiet and then it wasn't. So I also understand where you're coming from. I understand why you're upset. And I'm sorry if I haven't directly apologized to you. To be honest, like I am really sorry that this has happened to you. I really do care. If you knew how much stress, how many lack of sleep I've gotten thinking about this, having nightmares, like trying to do everything I can to solve this problem so that we could all coexist. Because for me, I spent 4 years trying to create this business, and everyone said, oh, why didn't you do the soundproofing before? But the situation is that we did test the sound before we started construction, and sound is so delicate that you add a pipe, you add a something here or there, and all of a sudden everything changes again. So until you fully finish a space, it's almost impossible to 100% know. And also different types of music travel different ways. But like I said, like I really do care. I hear you, and I'm promise you have my word. We're gonna do everything we can to solve this problem and to at least find a situation for you where you can be happy.
Thank you for saying that. I really appreciate that. Thank you.
I just had
No problem.
one
I
more
really mean
follow-up
it.
question. With the dancing and that you're asking us to now, go ahead and approve this application, how many events do you plan on having that will encompass dancing? And then what type of music is going to be playing?
So type of music vary. I would say 3 to 4 events a month would be the average, about once a week. In terms of the type of music, it varies from different styles of live music, world music, jazz, classical, but also deep in world house music. And did I miss something? Sometimes like funk music or like jam bands. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Andrew, I just want to tell you, there's 3 things that could happen now. We could not vote, we could vote to support, we could vote to oppose. I see this going to the general board meeting, and I don't think before this issue is resolved, we're going to be able to get the community board to support your application. And if we do put it for a vote, there's a chance the board will oppose the application. So what I'm suggesting is that we wait a month, you come back in a month, we give time to invite everybody with proper notice, and we reassess, and you'll be able to say, I did everything possible, we have it resolved, and we try to get, we try to support it. If we put it for a vote now, there's a possibility the full board will vote to oppose. So would you like us to proceed? Or would you like to hold off for a month?
So when you say the full, how does it work? Does everyone in the board have to approve?
So basically what happens is like this. We vote to either recommend the board approve, or we vote to, or we could recommend the board should oppose, or we could just not recommend anything. And then the board will vote on whether they want to give a letter of support, whether they want to give a letter in opposition, or whether they aren't interested in giving any letter at all. Now, this letter, I don't think the letter is, I'm not sure if it's mandatory in your case, because we never got I don't recall ever getting a dancing application before us, but this may be, Rashida, did you ever get one?
No, I did. This is just the note. Whatever I got for this meeting is what we got.
I'm saying in the past, when you were chair, do you ever recall getting?
No, when I was chair and they initially came before the board, or when Pat was there, it was all of this music and everything was not what we initially thought the business was going to be. So all of this.
I mean, do you remember?
I remember very clearly what
not this application.
I know not this application. I remember when they initially first came to the board, when they were doing the business and what they applied for when they did their first application. So all of this with music, and it's all new. When they initially came to the board, it was going to be a vegan restaurant with some, this is what we're gonna do. It wasn't all of this.
But do you recall ever getting an application to allow dancing, like to amend to allow dance? Because I don't recall as when I was
No.
kid, not regarding period ever about an establishment. Can we want to allow dancing?
No.
All
I
right,
don't
so
recall.
you don't know if it's a requirement for the board to approve or not, or it's a recommendation.
So we had actually live music and DJs entertainment level, and we said that to the community board. It was confirmed and approved by the community board from day one.
Yeah, but
actually-
there's a difference between live music and DJ as ambient music in the background versus
Oh no,
what
it
you
was
guys are doing
entertainment level.
now.
It was checked entertainment level.
Okay, but
There's two
Andrew, right?
options.
Are you okay holding off a month? And
To be honest, I would like to vote on it. For me, I really believe like we've done everything we can. Like we're the only place in this entire neighborhood that does anything like this. Like the neighborhood needs it. We have so many people that have been bottled up in their apartments for 3 years. I don't think we're doing anything wrong at all. We're still a wellness space. Like a lot of the dancing events we want to do are dancing meditations, they're movement classes. We want to have salsa, like we want to have all that stuff happening. So many people come to us. There's 0 event spaces in the entire neighborhood. Nothing around us like this.
Andrew, we're not at, you've been open. We're asking you to wait a month before we vote. But if you want to go for a vote, it's your choice. Is the Sarge? I see Barbara Lindsay has. Would you like to comment?
Yes, can you hear me?
We could hear you.
Okay, hi. I was just wondering, I didn't hear where this place at. I heard 510. Is that on Franklin Avenue?
Flatbush.
Flatbush.
Oh, Flatbush Avenue. Okay, and I wanted to also ask Miss Angeline, before the outside music, outside eating was there, was it as bad as it had been for you as far as the music?
I'm not sure what you mean by outside eating.
Do they have outside eating? I don't know where this place is. Is there outside eating or just inside?
So in the on warmer days, there would be tables set up outside, but I don't mind like street noise like that. That's not an issue for me.
I understand. I know exactly how you feel, but I was just curious to whether this noise stuff, complaints came up after the pandemic when a lot of restaurants were allowed to have seating outside. I didn't know.
Yeah.
Where's Flatbush and what? Flatbush and
Lefferts is the cross street.
Right there, the new restaurant right there by the train station.
Yes. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
I know the place. Okay.
Yeah.
That was my question, whether what happened before the pandemic or after. And also I'd like to know, is there a cutoff time for music during the week for restaurants or establishments in this area? Is there a cutoff time? I don't know who can answer that.
I can.
Okay. Thank you.
Basically from the town, I actually have the law right here. Just give me a second.
Sure.
Okay, basically, from between the hours of 10 p.m. and 7 p.m. It has to be, like I said before, it has to be, what Andrew mentioned, 42 decibels. It says commercial establishments that play music must limit the level of unreasonable or disturbing noise that escapes into the streets or is heard in nearby residents by requiring that sound levels may not exceed 42 decibels as measured from inside nearby residents and 7 decibels over the ambient sound level as measured on a street or public right of way 15 feet or more from the source. And then it says between 10 out 10 and 7.
But a private hallway is not a public right of way.
It also says here nearby residents.
And you said 10 p.m. to 7 p.m. or was that a mistake?
No, 10 p.m. to 7 a.m.
10 p.m. to 7 a.m. So you could play music all night, long as it's at a low decimal.
Correct. And they were in violation at one time. DEP did issue them a summons for that. They haven't come back yet. But if, like I said, if need be, I will bring them to take a measurement. And if they're in the legal limit, they're in the legal limit. If they're not, they're not. To just be clarified, I'm there most of the, I'm there often enough to tell you that the music, when they do the later night stuff, it's mostly techno rave music. So it's definitely pumping. The base is definitely going. When he does do his events, and on Andrew's defense, when he does the more cultural jazz, I think there's a drum. Andrew, what is that? The drum thing you do?
So shamanic house music, I'm actually a little bit insulted, is not techno rave music. I can send you playlists of the music. It's beautiful. Just because there's a little bit of bass in it, techno music is very hard. It's very different. And that's not techno music. I can send you mixtapes of the DJs and the artists that I have playing.
I apologize.
It's not techno rave music. I'm sorry.
I claim it. It's EDM. I just put it all together.
It's not even EDM. It's not.
Well,
It's deep house. It's very different. It's vocals. It's
electronic.
like world music sounds with dance. I'll send you mixes. I promise you. It's not. I hate techno music. I hate it.
And I apologize for classifying it wrong. But
yeah, I hate that music.
Like I said, I am there. It is loud, and you do. And like I guess the residents, when they asked when could this be done, you've proven to me that it can be done within seconds. It's just it's a little switch. You lower the bass, and that's it. And we wouldn't have any issues. But it's just an ongoing thing where I have to constantly keep coming back to remind you that you have residents in the building that are complaining. Just lower the bass. And again, when you lower the bass, we had no issues.
Of course, but you also came back on my birthday to tell me you hadn't gotten complaints for 3 months.
Andrew, here's the thing, Sergeant.
Thank you.
I don't know. There's a question of here facts. What is the law? I do not know the law. I know I have to go and.
I know the law very well.
You may know, but I don't know. So to me, if you're in compliance with the law and everything's resolved and you want us to support a dance permit, or I have no objection. If you've made the changes, you've put in money, you've demonstrated you're trying hard. If your music is within the legal limit, I have no objection. I have no idea where you stand now. I have to go and find out and get clarification on the law. To me personally, I can't vote on this application. Mr. Pearson can't vote either. He's gonna have to abstain. I'm assuming he has to abstain. Mia, you have to you could clarify, but I think Mr. Pearson has to abstain because he's going to.
That is correct. He must abstain.
Yeah. And my battery, my computer battery is about to die. I'm sorry. So if you want us to go for a vote, we can go for a vote and bring it to the full board. I'm recommending that you wait a month, but you could do what you want. We're happy to take this for a vote if you want us to put it for a vote.
I mean, if both of you guys aren't going to vote, then I mean,
Mr. Pearson is using the facility, right? So he's under Robert Rules of Order. He's required to abstain.
And there's other members on here that can vote as well. It's just not Yakov or Yankee.
Right. I'm not. I can't vote. I can vote. I'm not comfortable.
What you're saying. Andrew Golden would just say that. Well, if you guys aren't going to vote, but there's other members here that are ready to vote as well.
There are other members that could vote.
So Andrew, here's the thing. It's at this juncture, it's probably wisest to go with the recommendation to stand down for another 3.5 weeks. We're not talking about 5 months or 6 months. We're talking 3.5 weeks until the next board meeting.
And Andrew, I'm going to tell you that if in fact you get the below the legal limits, and then you may have the support of NYPD, you may have my support. We may be able to support you. And I'll tell you, I know this community board very well. I've been on the board since 2015. I do not see the board supporting this application. If there are people that are saying it's not resolved yet, the music. I may be wrong. I've been wrong before, but I have a hard time believing the board is going to support it. If you want to risk it, you're welcome. I have no objection to you taking this forward and taking it to a full vote.
Here's the other thing. Here's the other thing, Andrew, with Rabbi and Yankee not being able to vote, it just leaves 3 other people. So I don't know if that's a quorum or not.
No, I'm able to vote. I'm just not going to vote because I don't know the facts yet. I have to go and find out what the law is. There is a quorum, and it's not a problem with a quorum. And Mr. Pearson's abstaining. It's also not a problem. But there's definitely a quorum. We definitely can't proceed with a vote if that's what Mr. Golden wants from a legal standpoint. I'm just letting you know ahead of time until I have clarification on the law. I'm not comfortable voting. It's not that I can't vote.
Okay.
No problem. I mean, for me, I can wait 3.5 weeks. I just would love to at least have a promise from this committee that if we are at the legal limit, if we don't have any noise violations of the sound being over the legal limit in the next month or in general, because I know for a fact that I'm not going to let that happen, that we can get the support, because I really believe we're not doing anything negative, and I really believe that we're really good for the community. I've been here so many years, and there's not a single place that I can go in my area to dance, to connect socially and also be healthy. And for us, like if we're not able to do this, I don't know how much longer we're going to be able to survive. We've invested so much in soundproofing just so that we can get to this point. And all the customers, event brands, and everybody that's coming to us, and it's a lot of really good people that want to do birthdays, that want to do weddings, that want to do bachelorette parties and all these things. They all are asking us, can we dance? And I don't want to like start tackling people and telling them when they get up and they hear a song that they can't do that. You know, it's very stressful to really monitor that. I would have to get 30 security guards to literally stop someone when their feet move, when they hear a song they like. You know, it's very challenging. I've survived through the pandemic. Like, it's a miracle that we've gotten to where we have. And we've put everything, our heart, our soul, every cent we have to try to make this happen. I'm a good community member. I had an organic, all-natural supermarket in Clinton Hill for 8 years. We had a spa, Body by Brooklyn, providing spa services for the community. The reason Lincoln Market exists, which is the first market that had organic and local food in this neighborhood, is because we sat on the community board and we vetted originally our supermarket through, because we wanted this neighborhood to grow, to have all these different things. I believe myself as a big community member, and I really, from the bottom of my heart, I'm being super sincere here when I say all this.
Thank you.
Angeline, if you guys recommend it, then I'll wait.
Angeline, are you just two quick questions, if you don't mind. Number one is, if Andrew does get the sound below the legal limit, or is able to demonstrate that he is already below the legal limits, is that do you believe that's enough for the tenants?
I can't speak for everyone, but I can only speak for myself, because it's not just me on the second floor that, you know, this is an issue for. It goes sometimes all the way up to 7. I want to say yes, but I feel hesitant because I want to see consistency with that. You know what I mean?
No, I get.
Yeah. So I appreciate, like I said, the effort to make the improvements, but just like he's been stressed, I've been stressed out too. I teach. And so, you know, it's hard, you know, when you come home and you want to get some sleep. I get up very early. I come home in the evening. It's hard, you know, when you want to sleep, and this is the issue. And I just wanted to confirm something the officer said. The jazz music is not the issue. The drumming that goes on, not a problem. It's that music that's played with that heavy bass. I don't know what the technical term for that style of that music is, but that's where we usually run into a problem. I do have to leave. I just wanted to thank everyone for hearing me out. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Before you go, is this, Andrew made an offer, is that something you want to consider, or?
That's something I absolutely want to consider. I do.
Andrew, if Angeline wants to follow up, how does she go about and do that?
So she, because she's in a very specific rent stabilized apartment, it would have to be a very specific apartment for her in Flatbush, and we're hoping there's 1 or 2 that might become available in the next month or 2. That's why the only reason we haven't kind of sent her that message yet is because we wanted to be able to deliver on that promise. If we can just move her to any apartment in the building, it would have already been an offer and it would have happened, because she lives right upstairs.
Oh, wait, I'm sorry. I guess I wasn't understanding what you were asking me to consider. I appreciate that offer. For now, I would prefer to stay where I am because it's the middle of the school year. It would be too much to like figure out how to move somewhere else. And if somebody else comes in here, they might have the same issue. The thing I'm interested in most is just resolving the issue and getting that over with. The moving part, that's something I would have to think about. I'm sorry, didn't mean to interrupt.
Oh, no problem. And it would be on the same.
I just wanted to make sure you don't lose that offer. That's it.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And we would cover the costs, and it would actually be on the same floor, apartment 2D, which is a nicer apartment, which might become available. And we've already checked in there and you don't hear anything because it's not right directly above us. So just something to consider if we're able to get that apartment. I
Thank
think
you
we
so
just-
much. Good night, everyone.
Good
Good
night.
night, and thank you.
So Andrew, again, are you okay? What you said, you're okay waiting 3.5 weeks, or you want to proceed?
Yeah, I'm okay waiting 3.5 weeks, definitely. If you guys recommend it, I'm gonna take your recommendation.
Listen, if you want to go if you want to go take this to the full board, there's a chance the board is going to give a letter opposing. That's the risk you're taking. They may oppose it in a month also, I have no idea. But as of today, I think there's a big chance. Again, it's all conjecture based on my experience with the board. I mean, what do you think, Tessa, Rashida, or Yankee? You've been on the board a long time as well.
It's 8:15.
All right, we have to go. Anybody else want to comment over here? Or we're just gonna move forward.
Yeah, well, Rabbi, yeah, it's Tessa. I'm respectfully suggesting that that Andrew holds off for that 3.5 weeks. And it sounds like it's just a matter of turning down the subwoofer. I mean, you know, the officer said it 2 or 3 times. We turn down the subwoofer, the noise go away, everybody's happy.
Got it. All right. So are you okay? So Andrew, I'm not gonna bring it up for a vote tonight. And then hopefully we'll be back in the next meeting and we get it resolved. All right. Can somebody please, we have 2 applications before us still. We have Gomez. Do we have anybody that would like to make suggestions regarding the new liquor license from Gomez?
Rashida Sadiq, I'll make a motion to support the liquor license for Juan Gomez and that
Thank you.
establishment.
Thank you.
Tessa Hackett, Vera, committee and board member, I second that motion.
Harry, how do you vote?
I third that motion too.
Thank you. Vote support. Yankee?
You're welcome.
Thank you. Yankee? Mr. Pearson, are you there? I don't know if he's there. I support it as well. So we are, you know, as we say, Mazel Tov, Mr. Gomez. Mia will reach out to you from the board office for, you know, if you want to participate in the full board meeting. But this committee recommends that the board support your application.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. We also,
Appreciate that.
Yeah.
thank you. We also have a renewal in front of us, correct? Mia, what's the renewal?
The renewal is for Balboa Restaurant.
Balboa Restaurant, do we have a motion to support or oppose this renewal?
I, Kyrie Allen, would like to support that
You
renewal.
want to make a motion to support?
Oh, yes, I would like to make a motion to support the renewal for Balboa's Restaurant.
We have a second.
Rashida Sadiq, second the motion.
Tessa, how do you vote? I don't know if Tessa,
Yes, I vote yes. I vote yes. Absolute positive yes. I love Mr. Balboa.
And guess what, Tessa?
I'm
We love
biased.
you. I just had to say that.
I'm biased. I love Mr. Balboa. I'm biased.
Mr. Pearson, are you here? I vote to support as well. Mazel Tov, Mr. Balboa. This committee is going to recommend the full board give a letter of support for your application. I'd like to thank everybody for coming and staying so late. Mia, if you could please be in touch with Andrew closer to the next meeting to confirm he's given proper notice, as well as anybody else that needs notice from the building.
Most definitely. If is Andrew still here? I'll reach out to some of the tenants from the building and provide them the link to register for general board and the applicants as well.
All right, thank you. And thank you, Sergeant, for joining us again. Thank you, Andrew, for coming on such short notice. Thank you, fellow committee members, for participating in this meeting. And I feel that, even that small, Andrew, even that small interaction you had with, one of the tenants, was, I think, a very positive one, that we all want to bring this, to a resolution. We all want resolution. I hope that we could talk
Yeah.
about how we brought 510 Flatbush to resolution. Everybody's happy.
Oh, definitely. I know we're moving in the right direction. It used to
I
be a
hope
lot
so.
more.
Turn
neighbors
down the
complaining, so.
subwoofer, that's it.
And Purim Sameach, as we say in Hebrew. Purim Sameach. Happy Purim. We'll be in
Thank
touch.
you. You
Bye.
too.
The meeting
Take
is.
care.
Bye.
Have a good one.
Thank you. Bye, everyone.
Good night.
Take
Good night.
care.